Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 2, the rematch. The first time that these two stepped into the ring together, this was one of the best fights of the year, right? It had everything that you could want in a fight. It was a championship fight, undisputed fight. Two of the best women boxers in this era, not dodging each other, getting into the ring. It was bound to be a big night. And one of the questions that a lot of people were talking about, especially in that mainstream media, is can women sell out arenas and can it be exciting? It was all answered in that fight. Going into the fight, me personally, I wasn't really too sold on Katie Taylor in some areas, right? Yes, I could see the skill. I could see the speed. She's an excellent boxer, but I wasn't sure what type of grit that she had. Could she dig when she needed to? How was she going to handle that pressure and volume of Amanda Serrano when things was going to be heavy in the thick of things, so to speak? How would she respond? It was just some questions in some areas that I had question marks too. Katie Taylor is an excellent boxer. She knows how to control the distance, right? She knows how to jump in and jump out. She's explosive, very strategical and tactical. If you allow Katie Taylor to get into that mid-distance range, man, and you don't have any pressure on you, it's going to be lights out for you. She's going to pick you apart. She's too fast, too quick, too explosive, too precise with her shots. You're not going to beat her that way. Whereas Amanda Serrano is a bit of the opposite. She is a pressure fighter, volume fighter through and through. She needs to get close in order to close the gap. When she gets close, she's going to let the hands go. And she's got good pop in her shots. Like she's been known to stop some girls. Talked about the grit that I just mentioned. Katie Taylor answered that question, man. I mean, she was hurt a couple times in that fight, noticeably hurt in that fight a couple times, and she would not fold. I was thinking if she gets hurt in that position again, she's not gonna stand up to that. But every time that she was in that position, she stood up to it. And there were some times where she stood right there and started firing back shots against the bigger puncher. So I was like, wait a minute. Okay, the question that I had about the grit, no, this girl's tough. She's got it all. She's got the goods. I was impressed with her performance against Amanda Serrano, man. She fought on the inside very well. Also, it was a complete fight from Katie Taylor, right? Because she showed you why she was a champion. Now, Katie Taylor got the edge in that fight, and it was a close fight, a fight that could have went either way, depending on what you liked. I think if it was a 3-minute round type of fight, maybe Katie Taylor would have gotten more in trouble and possibly even get stopped. Right? That's just my personal opinion. It was that 5th round where it looked like it was about to be over for Katie Taylor. I mean, blood was coming down her face. She could barely stand. She was wobbling a little bit. Amanda Serrano smothered her work just a little bit, but she was swinging everything. And it looked like Katie Taylor, it was about to be over with because she was holding for dear life. But she still stood the test. She still kept throwing. She still showed that heart and that courage that a champion possesses. Now, the last fight was at 135 pounds. This fight is at 138 pounds. It could make a difference, but it is a catch weight from my understanding unless things change. Will it make a difference? We'll see. But since the first fight, there's been some changes in both women's trajectory in where they are right now. Katie Taylor went on to fight Karen Carvajal at 135, and then she moved up to 140 and tried to become undisputed when she fought Chantel Cameron. She didn't get the nod the first time, but she got the nod the second time. But again, Chantel Cameron, you could noticeably see the size difference. It was apparent in favor of Chantel Cameron. Now, Cameron showed her skill and talent and experience and imposed her will in that first fight. In the second fight, both fights were close. Depending on what you liked, you went for whom favored your style of preference a little better, but it was a close fight. In the second fight, I felt like Katie Taylor started off really well early, but Chantel Cameron came in the second half, but it was too little, too late, and Katie Taylor won that fight. Now you go over to Amanda Serrano, and she's had lesser of a grueling fight, right? She's fought a bunch of other fighters, but they weren't really taxing fights, if you know what I mean. They were kind of stay busy fighting fights where sometimes she looked a little bit sloppy, but it was against opponents who wasn't really going to take advantage of that, right? And she just, she's been back to her winning ways, including a second round stoppage in her most recent fight. And we know how tough it is in women's boxing to get stoppages, but the competition for Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor in their recent fights have been noticeably different. So this is going to be a very interesting fight, man, a highly anticipated rematch, and we are going to get it this Friday. Let's see how it goes. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and signup Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/thebreakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, in the first fight, I went with Amanda Serrano because I felt like the volume and the pressure was going to be a little bit too much and overwhelming for the range and distance controlling Katie Taylor. And to many people thought Serrano won the fight. But to the other side, many people thought Katie Taylor won the fight. You can't be mad at whomever got the nod. It was one of those fights where it was so exciting and so good, you didn't really care who won. Now, this fight is under MVP Promotions, which is Jake Paul's promotional company, who has helped Amanda Serrano in the second half of her boxing career in many ways. The first fight was under Matchroom, so Eddie Hearn had his hands on that. So that could be something that we have to keep in mind as we're talking about the entirety of the sport. But you would have to think if it is a close fight, it's going to lean towards the promotional company's fighter, which would be Amanda Serrano, if it goes that way. But I don't think it's going to go that way, in my opinion, man. I don't think it's going to have to come down to that. Now, it might, probably will, but my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to come down to that. I like Amanda Serrano to win this fight by decision, just because I think Katie Taylor has been in so much wars and so much tough and grueling fights on the back end of her career that at some point, when you fight tough fights after tough fights after tough fights, at some point, one is not going to go your way, right? It's not going to go in your favor. And it already didn't against Chantel Cameron, but she had to dig again to fight Chantel Cameron. Now you're coming back to fight another tough and grueling opponent and someone who throws way more than anyone that you've ever faced before. And we saw what happened in the first fight and how you almost got stopped. And now you got to go through that again under their promotional company. And I think Amanda Serrano is a little bit more rested, even though Amanda Serrano has more fights overall. In the recent couple years after Katie Taylor, she hasn't really had a hard, tough, and grueling fight. I think she's going to be fresher going into this fight than Katie Taylor. So I think the volume is going to work in the favor of Amanda Serrano in this fight. Katie Taylor is 38 now. Amanda Serrano is a little bit younger, so the conditioning is going to favor Amanda Serrano. But Katie Taylor is a true professional through and through, so she will be ready for this fight. But I like Amanda Serrano to get her revenge and to come out on top and get the decision victory. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this done, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.